continues to be with us here on the broadcast. So our guest also joining us here 2 p.m. this afternoon, Dr. MC Mishra, who is the former director of AIIMS, joining us live from the National Capital. We also have Dr. D.K. Gupta, pediatrician, and CMD Felix Healthcare, also joining us from Delhi. And also Dr. J. Jayalal, president of the IMA, is also joining us here on the broadcast. Good afternoon to all of you. Dr. Jayalal, I want to come across to you because you have written several letters to the centre and the Prime Minister itself, talking about the seriousness of the situation, especially the Delhi hospitals and hospitals everywhere that has been facing. Under the IMA, you have also asked for more manpower so that execution of the centre's plan could now be put into place. Sir.
A grim situation where the hospitals have reached to the maximum limit, and we need some breaking point at this moment, and we need the infrastructure to be augmented, we need the manpower to be augmented. It is a very, very difficult situation for the government to act very swiftly to increase the manpower. And second one is the lockdown which is now announced. Definitely it is not a solution, but may give some means and ways by which the meantime, the 6 days where the infrastructure can be enhanced. The fear which is now reaching into the public has to be removed. So the government should come out very positively in supporting the people and providing the home isolation and home care to be strengthened, so that to take care of the home care to the beneficial effect, we need more manpower, more doctors to be included, and they need to be encouraged at this moment to take part in this issue. And equally, we thank the government for engaging a lot of railway bogies as inpatient bed. And that is a very, very welcome step by the government. And government is trying its level best to augment the healthcare sector. I am sure, and with the able guidance of both the central government and the ministry, and we will be able to overcome this crisis. And the only appeal to the people, we still stick on to the COVID appropriate behaviors. The good days are ahead for us, and definitely we will be overcoming this crisis.
Right, Dr. MC Mishra also with us right now. Good afternoon, Dr. Mishra. You're the former director of AIIMS in Delhi. AIIMS, of course, has been essentially at the forefront of this fight that we see against the second wave of the pandemic. Now, Dr. Mishra, this wave has caught us by surprise. The number of cases that we've had come up every day has increased, drastically. How do you see the next few weeks panning out, and what would your suggestion be to the normal citizens of the National Capital, which now goes into a lockdown 10 p.m. this evening?
Thank you so much. And it's better late than never. The Delhi government has announced lockdown for 1 week, and I hope that at least the lockdown would be extended to another week or another week, like 3 weeks or so. We have been asking for this for last 1 week, because the way the infected, the positivity rate is almost 25 to 30%, and by every hour we are getting more infected individuals flocking the laboratory services and the testing centers, and then the hospital emergency departments and also ICUs are full. So we are seeing unprecedented number of patients requiring medical attention, which is not available forthwith to everyone at the same level. And that was the concern. And because of lack of oxygen, because of lack of beds in ICU, we are losing lives. And that is something which people, what you asked, that what people should be doing, that we have been telling for last almost 1 month, that the simple way to protect yourself, that don't move out on your own, even without lockdown being announced, and limit your movement to absolute necessity, and curtail on many unnecessary or unemergent situations where one can actually live with. And we have learned to live with this limited conditions for last 1 year. So it is not something which people are not experienced in. But despite that, we saw the religious gatherings because of the Kumbh as well as because of the Ramzan. We saw horrific scenes, and then election rallies, etc. And otherwise also people were almost considering that there was no COVID. And that is the reason that we have seen this exponential rise in number of cases, positivity rate going up, and this mutant virus, as you are already mentioning, that it's highly infectious. It sticks on the cell because of the spike protein much faster than the previous original coronavirus. So I think this lockdown surely will help in movement of people across the Delhi NCR region, and also UP government is also considering, as I saw in your lead story, that UP government is also considering 10-day curfew or lockdown, whatever we call it, limit the movement of the people so that they don't meet each other socially. And that is what is leading to this explosion of cases, because people are still meeting, dining, and we learned everywhere people are violating the COVID appropriate behavior, which is minimal requirement from everyone without exception. And that is something was worrying. We have seen the oxygen shortage, we have seen the ventilator shortage, we have seen the bed shortage in the hospitals for normal bed. And I can tell you, at least I have half a dozen people who are on oxygen at home. I am advising them to remain at home, not go to the hospital and crowd at the hospital. And I have told how you can improve your oxygenation. Even if it comes around 90 or 88, you can be lying prone and do deep breathing. This we have learned from the past 1 year in our critical care units, the awake proning, what we call. It improves oxygenation forthwith. You may not need even oxygen to improve your oxygenation. Oxygen is in plenty in this room where I am sitting. So you can use this oxygen. Only you need to increase your respiratory effort by doing deep breathing. And I think a number of patients in critical care units have recovered without oxygen by awake proning. And some of them have come off ventilator sooner by awake with this proning mechanism. So I think this we have learned in COVID, that this helps a great deal to improve oxygen. We also are asking people not to put these patients on a very high flow oxygen like 10 liters, 13 liters and 14 liters a minute, which we generally use. But put the patient on a low flow oxygen, that is 2 to 3 liters or 3 to 4 liters. And it is bringing up the oxygen level. And if you can keep that oxygen level around 90, that should be absolutely okay to protect your brain, protect your other systems in the body. Don't try to achieve 100%. It never happens. If even all 5 of you or 6, me, myself, if we put our oxygen saturation, it will come 97, 98%, 96%, 95%. So don't expect to go to the 100% and give a lot of oxygen to people. So I think that is where we can do a lot.
That's a great question, I think. I would like to tell you that in last wave also, children were infected at the same rate. That infection rate is not high because they were not exposed to outer environment because of lockdown. Everybody was following COVID behavior, and the people were not going out. If they are coming inside home, or they are also following all the infection control guidelines inside the home also. Now, because of this unlock process, everything was open, everybody was going open, even children was going to malls, markets for playing in the park areas. So that's why the exposure was high, and that's why the infection rate is high in children right now. Second thing important why this is infection rate is high. Second is the new strain that came. We all know that the new strain, UK strain or Australia strain or this Brazil strain or South Africa, even the double mutant strain of India also, they all have the very infectivity rate. I mean, they are around 70 to 80% extra higher in spreading the infection among all population, including the children and the pregnant women also. So that means if there are any children coming across this infection or in contact with any person who is having this infection, children are prone to develop 2 times more infection because of this high rate of infectivity of these strains. That's more important. We all know that children's mortality rate is quite low, as we seen in the last wave also. In this wave also, mortality is not very high, but children are now becoming symptomatic, especially the older children. and they are also prone to develop complications also, especially the obese one. Therefore, we should know what are the symptoms and signs, and when it's the time to contact a doctor, and when we have to go to the emergency department of the hospital. First, in adult or in older children, the symptoms are roughly same, like fever, cough, sore throat pain, body ache, malaise, and headache, and fatigue. These are the symptoms in the older children. Sometimes atypical symptoms including in older children also, like loose motion, vomiting, pain abdomen, rashes on the skin, blueness of lips, or blue discoloration of fingernails. These can be some atypical symptoms also. There are few cases found in UK and US regarding a systematic multi-system inflammatory syndrome in children, MSISC, that is observed in UK and US, that is not observed till now in India, and that is a severe one seen in the COVID patient. It includes, there will be redness of eye, redness of lips, and crackling of the lips, including xerostomia, that is dryness of mouth, and there is swelling will be on feet and fingers and hands, and pain abdomen, breathing difficulty. So this is a syndrome has found in few children in among other countries. Currently, what should we, as a mother or a parent, we should see what are the dangerous signs when we should move to a hospital. Especially in neonate and toddler, there are atypical symptoms also, like they will be lethargic, they will not be feeling playful, they will be irritable also, so not taking feed, appetite will be poor. There are also atypical symptoms in younger age group. If your baby is not feeding well, he is lethargic, or he is very irritable, he is not able to, you are not able to control him or her, and then this is a time you should consult a doctor. Serious symptom when you should move to the emergency department, if your baby is breathing very fast, means his or her respiratory rate is high, or there is some dipping of or recession of intercostal muscles during breathing, or the baby is dehydrated, or baby is drowsy, sleeping, not arousable, or baby is having severe loose motion, severe vomiting, uncontrolled vomiting, and baby is having some atypical symptoms like redness of eye, conjunctivitis, or xerostomia, or there is a redness of lips or swelling fingers, then we should definitely approach to a hospital. Second thing, what are the special kids to whom where we should be taken, they should be taken care of? They are babies who are comorbid, similar like in adults, those who are suffering from diabetes, asthma, heart defects, or they are having renal transplant, or they are on dialysis, or they are suffering from sickle cell anemia, thalassemia, immunocompromised, means they are HIV patients, or baby suffering from cancer, blood cancer, etc. They should be taken extra care, because they are developing symptoms. Then they should definitely go to the nearby center for confirming it and taking the doctor's prescription. I think I will elaborate one thing more. We have to be more suspicious regarding these symptoms. If your baby is in contact of any suspected COVID patient, or there is one positive patient inside the family, it means there is a high chance of developing infection in the kid also. Means a suspicion should be very high from the parents also and from the doctor's point of view. Then we can diagnose early. But good thing is that we do not require there is no extra mortalities in children, and currently it is also less than 0.0011%. It varies between 0.001 to 0.003% only. And if we talk about the
right, sir. Right, sir. So it's a two-way thing. Even when it comes to the children who have been infected, can pass on to their parents. The parents can also infect their children. This time around, we are looking at a very, very high infection rate, whether be it in toddlers. We have seen that happening in the newborns as well. Like 2 to 3 months old have been infected with COVID-19. There are breastfeeding mothers also who are actually said to be negative, but the children are said to be positive. And these are many of those cases. As of now, we are getting to know, but there are varies of symptoms in the second wave that we need to be alert, and we need to actually pick them up right from the beginning, as and when one individual starts showing any one of these symptoms. We'll be talking about that in detail. Dr. Mishra,